Back by popular demand, the heavyweight 2020 vape champion of the world, Hold on, Tony. Alright, enough with the pleasantries. Let me ask you something. Have you ever watched somebody get their ass whooped in the club? Okay, yeah, cool. Now let me ask you another question. Have you ever watched your homeboy get his ass whooped in the club and you didn't know it was him? Alright, so here's the scene. It's first year of college, second semester, we going clubbing, first time out together. It's me, Lee, Broski, and Lil E. There is two very important club laws. There are many club laws, but there are two very important ones. And those important ones are, if knucketh if you bucket cometh on, then that means someone is getting their ass whooped. And two, knuck if you buck is going to come on when you go to the club. Oh yeah, and these were my Blackie Mile and Incredible Hulk days, so you know what that means. It's like Christmas with bitches. Nah, I'm just joking. Young, respectable ladies that were half naked. And I know what you're wondering. Yes, I was 18 at the time, but all you had to do to get a drink was go find somebody and pay them to go buy your drink. And that's it. Anyway, so 18 at the club, underage drinking. Yeah, that happens. So we're walking into the club. Everything's cool. Everybody's vibing. I've got Incredible Hulk in one hand. I've got a Blackie Mile in the next hand. And I'm not gonna lie, I was spilling my drink on people and my ashes were kind of hitting some people in the face. But I didn't really care because I had homies with me and these are still my reckless years anyway. So I'm really not caring. But then the next thing I know, Knuck If You Buck comes on. And I'm just like, well, I've got a drink in one hand. I've got basically a cigarette in the other hand. And so that means that I am not getting in the middle tonight. Normally I would, but not when I know that I have things that will get me killed in the middle. The time goes on, and the next thing I know, I look around and I see about 2 minutes into the song, a good 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the song to be correct. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the song, we start to see one of the greatest ass whoopings on earth. There was one dude getting stumped out by 20 niggas. And these weren't just any niggas. All of them were tall, dread-headed, muscular, looked like they might have been football players, slash basketball players, slash alphas, Qs, omega pies, whatever you want to call it. And they also looked like they used to pretend to gang bang in high school and people actually believed them. This is like one of the worst thumpings ever, and I was quite the instigator back in the day. So while I'm seeing this going on, I start looking and I start yelling, and I'm like, hey, yeah, get him, stomp him out. He look weak. I bet he don't want to see me over there though. Save me some. I'm trying to mess him up good. I heard he was talking smack before he walked in the club. Yeah. And this was one of the most brutal stompings I have ever seen. All of the dudes that were stomping the guy look like they all wear black Air Force Ones. When I tell you that these guys were stomping so hard, it sounded like somebody was clapping the mightiest of Chiefs. It just sounded like in unison. I could not believe my eyes. These guys was like a moving can of Raid, stomping out all the roaches. And so we're just looking, and the next thing you know, I look over, I see Broski, and I see Lil E. And then so I look over to the other side too, and I'm just like, huh. And I'm like, yo, Broski. And he's like, yeah, what's up? I was like, where's Lee? He looks around, and he was like, I don't know. And I'm looking around, I don't know. And I swear it was like a movie, because we both looked at each other at the same time, and we were both just like, oh shit. So we look over into the club as the security is helping the guy get up that's just been severely, badly stomped. And as they clear people off of him, and we couldn't believe our eyes. It turned out that it was Lee. And I was just like, oh Lord Jesus. I just literally not only watched my homeboy get stumped out, but I also just rooted on for it and might have actually jumped in. I'm kidding, I wasn't gonna jump in. But I was still just like, man, that's fucked up. So he gets up, we rush to him, and we're like, bro, what happened? And Lee couldn't say a word. Broski was just like, yo, I don't care, man. If you just want to hit somebody tonight, then we can hit somebody tonight. Because they let him stay in the club because that obviously was not a fair fight and nobody knew if it was his fault or not if he started. He just was the one man getting stumped by the 20 Goliaths. As night went on, he's looking around and stuff, and I'm just like, you really feel like doing this? And then Broski looks at me and he's like, anybody can catch a body tonight. And I'm just like, hey, man, it's cool. All right, you know what? But Lee's not really with it. 2 weeks, this man looked like a mashed in Mr. Potato Head doll with the stuffing coming out. If you looked really close, it looked like you could remove his nose. He looked like the Elephant Man. That is my best way to describe him. He just had lumps and bumps and all kinds of mumps all over. The thing about Lee is, this ain't no small dude. Lee ain't no punk. Lee was about 6'2", a football player, and dark skin. You know what that means? Whenever I seen him walking around, he always reminded me of a grizzly bear looking for honey. Oh, and one more thing about Lee. I always have to do an imitation of him whenever I talk about him because he always reminded me of a 1950s movie mobster whenever he was talking to me. And so when he finally opened up and told me the story of what happened, he was just like, so yeah, I was up in the club with you guys when Knuck of Your Buck came on. And I went to the center. I figured you guys would be alright and you had a drink in your hand, so you probably wouldn't want to get in. But I went into the center of the club and I was like, yeah, so what did you do in the center of the club, Lee? So I walked up in the center of the club and you know, I'm throwing my fists up in the air, just like, you know, the usual. And then I see a little nigga. And I was like, so you saw a little nigga? And what happened? Yeah, so I saw a little nigga, so I mushed him. And I was like, wait, you mushed him? Yeah, I mushed him. I was like, but why did you mush him, Lee? Because he was a little nigga. And I was like, oh, okay. That seems logical. After I mushed him, this big dude comes up, and he's even bigger than me. And he pushes me, and he's like, hey, we got a problem. And so I looked at him, I looked back at the little nigga, and then I looked back at the big nigga, and I was like, yeah. And what happened after that? So the big dude, after I said that to him, some other dude came up and he snuck me, punched me dead in my jaw. And then when he punched me in my jaw, I fell back a little bit, and I was right next to the speakers. And I was like, so you went to the speakers and then they came and they just swarmed you from there? It's like, no, they didn't swarm me yet. But I was at the speakers and I was just like, you know what, man? I've never taken an L before. And I'm not going out like that. I ain't going out like no bitch. I was like, okay, you're not going out like a bitch. So yeah, I ain't going out like no bitch. So I just came back and I jumped into the pit and I just started swinging at random. Now you a fucking moron. What the fuck? But I ain't say nothing. I'm just listening. He's like, so I'm swinging at random. And I know I hit somebody, like 1 or 2 people. The next thing you know, that's when they rushed me. And then somebody got a good clean hit on me. And I fell. And the next thing that happened is that they were stomping me. And I was like, so you completely deserved what happened to you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't feel as bad anymore. Still terrible. If I'd have known it was him, I would have jumped in. But there's actually another part to this story that I later found out. Now, there was a girl that I knew in college. We're gonna call her Allie, the chubby Native American with low self-esteem. No, I'm not being mean. I'm just giving you a clear picture of what this girl looked like. And I see her and she's got like a shiner mark on the side of her face. And I'm just like, hey, what happened to you? You don't look okay. And she looks at me with this kind of like sad smile she always had. And she was like, oh, I was in the club and a fucking dude hit me. And I was like, huh, a guy hit you in the club? When? It was during Nuck If You Buck. Interesting. So you got hit while Nuck If You Buck was playing. But my quick question, where were you at? And she looked at me, I looked at her, and she looked at me with those doll puppy eyes, and she said, I was by the speakers. And I was like, oh my God. I'm pretty sure my homeboy jumped into the middle of the crowd and punched this girl in the face and didn't even know. And I will forever take that little tidbit of that story to my grave and YouTube. But yeah, man, click, subscribe, eat chocolate, pay your taxes, sometimes, blah 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 blah. Good night, folks.
Alright, son, you know what time it is. Today's homie of the day, and I gotta take it back to New York for this man. Shiver me timbers. It's my boy Rasheem Harris, aka Mr. Winter, and very much known to me as the Stoic. Let me holler at y'all about this guy right here. He is a photographer, content creator, editor, videographer, actor, and also philanthropist. I'm starting to run out of breath trying to think of all the things that this man does, because he even do stuff that I don't even know about yet. But I'm still finding out. And check this out right here. I actually done a couple collabs with this man, and we got new content coming on the way. So you're gonna see me and this man working closely together out here in these streets. But y'all need to holler at this man. This man is on the move. This man is on the rise. This man is out here doing his thing. Also, his company. Yes, that's right. He's got his own company too. Ladies, y'all need to get this man before he gets out of your league. I'm telling you. But yes, Big Head Productions. That's right. Big Head Productions for people like me. So I need y'all to go holler at this man and show him some love and support. Homie of the day, Rasheem Winter Harris. Let's go.